What's up everybody, and welcome to my review of Avenging Spider-Man 15.1, and what Marvel has done a horrible job of marketing this as, because this is part 2 of issue 700. This is the rest of the story before Superior Spider-Man starts. So I like this cover. The cover is good, it's nice, but let's get into the meat of the comic. And of course, if you haven't seen the issue 700 review, go watch it now, then come back and watch this. This is part 2. So it opens with one day after what we saw at the end of 700, and now Octavius's mind is fully in Peter's body, and he is controlling him. He starts laughing and he goes around swinging, and we see that he's looking at the suit. He wants to make some modifications, and he goes over the story of how all this how pretty much happened in issue 600. We see that, he was put in the state he was in, like almost going into a vegetable. We see the mind swap, and him finally defeating Pete. And we do get a little bit of, history of him. He has the talons on there on the suit. We see him, he's molding the eyes and everything. So he has a new plan for what he wants his Spider-Man to be. And then we cut to day 2 where, he's just kind of playing around. He's upside down on his wall. And we see that he eventually, starts to talk about Mary Jane, because he's going to go on a dinner date with her, because of course, he's Peter Parker's body. He can do whatever he wants. And we see that he even, it is Octavius, but he does the right thing the next day where a robber is escaping and he ends up knocking him out. Octavius would have just let this go, but you can clearly tell that there's still P in there. And the next thing, he's at Horizon Labs and he figures out, he needs his own lair. So he goes back to his old Dr. Octavius lair, where he was doing everything. And when he gets in, he triggers an alarm, and he actually makes fun of himself. He's like, oh God, do I sound like an underwater walrus? He's insulting himself. He's calling himself pretty useless. And he's doing that because he realizes that throughout this comic that with Peter Parker always did the right thing, but he was so smart. He could have done so much more, but he did everything to stop villains like him. And he realized that what he was doing was bad. And now that he's won and he's learned that with great power comes great responsibility, he's going to use everything that he knows from Peter and everything he knows as Otto Octavius. And he wants to make it better. He wants to be a superior Spider-Man, a superior Peter Parker. He wants to use the smarts that he has and the smarts that Peter Parker had and put them in one and make the world a better place. And the last thing, we come to his day 5. He's in the lair, and we see he's putting on his suit. And the last page we get is him swinging in the new suit. We see the talons and everything. It's pretty awesome. I like the artwork. And we see it's going to be continued in Superior Spider-Man #1. So essentially, this and 700 were the lead-up. They were the 0 issues to Superior Spider-Man #1. And I actually like this comic. This is the type of artwork we should have had in issue 700. Like, this celebrates Peter Parker and Spider-Man as 700, not what we got. I actually enjoyed this comic. I thought it was good setup. I thought it was way better than 700. I give this one an 8.5 out of 10.